Speaker Paul Ryan. That's not someone I often quote.
You do that very often.
I don't do that a lot, but I will quote former Speaker Paul Ryan to say,
Can we put this on Twitter?
you can. You can. He said, quote, "Government closest to the people governs best." That's his quote. So my bill, HB 2631, does not actually raise the minimum wage. All it does is it allows localities the option, if they so choose, chosen by the people of the various communities, counties, and cities of the Commonwealth of Virginia. It allows the local governments to raise the minimum wage. It relaxes the bill to allow that. So I don't think that anyone could dispute that the cost of living in Alexandria and Arlington and Fairfax, as I represent, is higher than the cost of living elsewhere in Virginia. I don't think that's really disputable. The housing costs are more, people are paid more. And all this bill does, again, is allows Bristol to charge a different minimum wage from Alexandria, a different rate for Winchester, a different rate for Norfolk. And I can tell you that in the jurisdictions that I represent, the people very much want a higher minimum wage. But I recognize that one size doesn't necessarily fit all. And so all the bill does, again, would be allow localities to raise the minimum wage and allow workers to live in the communities where they've lived for a very long time and often can't afford it. So I think it's the most democratic bill. A few comments about the minimum wage in general, just to dispel any myths. I think the committee probably knows these, but 3/4 of the people earning minimum wage are adults. 90% are over age 20. So actually, 3/4 I think are over 25. 56% are women. And 600 economists have, including 7 Nobel Prize winners, have put together a study to show the weight of evidence showing that increases in the minimum wage over time have had little or no effect on the employment of minimum wage workers. A survey from 2015 that hasn't been raised since then showed that at that time, 3 out of 5 small business owners with employees, this is nationwide, supported a gradual increase in the minimum wage to $12. And academic research shows that higher wages sharply reduce employee turnover, which can reduce employment and training costs. But the argument to raise it statewide, that's not my bill. That's another day. What I'm saying is that in my community, people want it raised. And if folks don't like their local government putting forward an ordinance, they can vote them out of office. I'm quite confident there are communities in Virginia that do not want to raise minimum wage. Again, I don't want to reiterate my point too often. Let the people decide. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. I see we have any questions of committee members. Seeing none, anyone like to speak in favor of the bill, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Charlie Jackson, representing the Service Employees International Union. We support this measure.
Welcome.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Ben Hoying with the Virginia Interfaith Center. And on the 400th anniversary of this House, let us remember the words of Thomas Jefferson as he spoke of self-determination, that everyone may govern itself according to whatever form it pleases. And localities should be able to set their own minimum wage for the people in Bristol, Virginia, and Fairfax, and everywhere in between that suits their needs. So Virginia Interfaith Center supports this bill. Thank you.
Welcome.
Doris Kraus Mays, Virginia AFL-CIO, we support the measure.
Welcome, sir.
Thomas Bowman with LIUNA, we support this measure because it helps hardworking families put food on the table. Ian Hines with the Carpet Union, we also support this bill.
Thanks, sir. Anyone in opposition? Please come forward.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Nicole Riley with NFIB, we again this year oppose the bill. Speaking to the local option, Virginia, because of our Dillon rule, is a factor in why we have good business rankings. For a lot of business owners that have multiple businesses across jurisdictions, having various minimum wages would be very burdensome for them to keep track of. Also could make, working on tight margins that they do, particularly small business owners, could make it more difficult. And then just in general to the minimum wage, we would oppose the minimum wage just because mostly for our small business owners in particular, it is difficult for them to sustain that. When you do raise the floor, you also raise the ceiling. And so while a lot of our members pay more than minimum wage, that does put a lot of pressure on them for their employees that are way above minimum wage. They expect the same treatment. And it's for a lot of other reasons that those that we oppose the bill. Thank you.
Next, please.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Robert Melvin. I'm with the Virginia Restaurant Lodging and Travel Association, and we are asking you to oppose the bill today because it would have a detrimental impact on our members. Specifically, a Congressional Budget Office report found that increasing the federal minimum wage to even $10.10 an hour would lead to nearly a $500,000 job loss. In addition, minimum wage increases often hurt very people that they're intended to help. A study from Cornell University found that the minimum wage increases, quote, significantly reduce the employment for young adults without high school degrees and teenagers. In addition, 2.3% of hourly employees are paid the state minimum wage, and the negative impact of wage increases, including increased prices, reduced hours, and layoffs, often negate the benefits. And then finally, I'd like to point out that according to the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco, raising the minimum wage tends to benefit higher income earners disproportionately compared to low income earners. So please oppose this bill.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Jody Roth on behalf of Virginia Retail Federation, we also oppose.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Ron Sarah, Pennsylvania Chamber, we oppose the bill.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I'm Eric Reisen with the Virginia Chamber of Commerce, and we oppose this legislation.
All right, last words.
Yes, I would just again emphasize the survey from 2015, a nationwide survey, 3 out of 5 small business owners with employees support a gradual increase to $12. But at the end of the day, again, this does not require any community in Virginia to do anything. I can tell you with assurance that the folks who live in Alexandria, in Arlington, and Fairfax strongly support a higher minimum wage. The cost of living are very high where I represent. The people there want it. And I think that we should let people through their local government, going back to Paul Ryan, government closest to the people governs best, and let the people decide. I think it's a democratic measure, and I think we should respect localities and the people of our various, very different jurisdictions. Thank you for your time.
Let's see, any questions of the committee? Seeing none, we welcome a motion.
Move to support, to report.
She can support and report. Do we have a second? I'll support her report. Well, I assume there might be a second, so. That's it with the second. All right, any further discussion? 2631, discussion. All those wishing to vote, please do so. I'm going to close the roll. 2631 fails.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your time.